Chapter 1. From Abraham to Jacob, the birth of Israelite history. Understanding the differences between the terms Israelites and Jews is rooted in a history that traces back to the patriarch Abraham. He was called by God to leave his homeland and journey to a new land promised to his descendants. Abraham, recognized as the father of faith, became the founder of the people of Israel, and it was with him that the first covenant was established, defining the identity and faith of his offspring. God promised Abraham that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky, and through them, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. The narrative continued through his son Isaac. And then through his grandson Jacob, who was given a new name, Israel, which symbolizes one who struggles with God. This important event occurred after Jacob's famous wrestle with an angel, during which he received this name as a testament to his special relationship with God. Jacob became the father of 12 sons, who later led the 12 tribes of Israel, and it is from them that the term Israelites derives. These tribes became the foundation of an ancient people, and all who descended from one of them were called Israelites, or descendants of Israel. It is important to note that in the patriarchal era, there was no clear distinction between the concepts of Jew and Israelite. All descendants of Jacob Israel were called Israelites, and this designation connected them to the covenant given by God. At this stage in history, the Israelites represented a unified people bound by common beliefs and living in the Promised Land. However, as events unfolded, distinctions in both names and fates of the tribes began to emerge, especially after the establishment of the Kingdom of Israel. The creation of the kingdom and the subsequent division into the northern and southern kingdoms after King Solomon's reign played a significant role in identifying the Israelites. This split laid the groundwork for the emergence of a new term, Jews, which began to refer to the inhabitants of the southern kingdom. Judea. Chapter 2. The division of kingdoms and the formation of Jewish identity. After the era of Solomon's reign, around 930 BCE, internal conflicts and political disagreements soon led to a split in the Israelite kingdom into two separate entities: the northern kingdom, retaining the name Israel and comprising 10 tribes, and the southern kingdom, known as Judea, consisting of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. This historical division was a turning point in forming the identities of the two kingdoms and further solidified the differences between the terms Israelite and Jew. The northern kingdom, Israel, with its capital in Samaria, comprised the majority of the tribes, which followed local rulers and often opposed the center of power located in Jerusalem, associated with the central temple. Meanwhile, Judea, the southern kingdom, focused its attention on Jerusalem and the temple, which became a crucial religious and cultural center for its inhabitants. The Judeans, descendants of the tribe of Judah, became the main keepers of religious tradition and the covenant, which eventually led to the term Jew becoming associated specifically with the inhabitants of Judea, who followed traditions related to the temple and observed the teachings of the Torah. Over time, especially after the Assyrians conquered the northern kingdom in 722 BCE and its tribes were dispersed, the term Jew increasingly came to denote the inhabitants of the southern kingdom. Unlike the Israelites of the northern kingdom, who were assimilated among the peoples of the Assyrian Empire, the Judeans maintained their identity through strong religious traditions and beliefs. Gradually, Jews became synonymous with the people who remained faithful to religious practices and the covenant, even while being outside the geographical confines of Judea. This historical period symbolizes the beginning of the association of Jews with a particular religion centered around Jerusalem and the temple. The concept of Judaism at this time became more multifaceted than mere affiliation with a specific tribe or locality. It encompassed religious practices, distinct cultural traditions, and commitment to the covenant with God, regardless of changing life circumstances. It is this complex and deeply rooted identity of the Jews that became the foundation for their subsequent history and influence in the world. Chapter 3. The lost tribes of Israel and Jewish identity. After the Babylonian exile, the decline of the northern kingdom of Israel led to significant changes in Jewish and Israeli identities. The 10 tribes of Israel, residing in the northern territories, were forcibly relocated and assimilated among the peoples of the Assyrian Empire. These tribes, known as the Lost Tribes of Israel, gradually dissolved into the diverse surrounding cultures, and their origins became a true mystery in history. The loss of these tribes triggered considerable cultural and religious changes, as the preservation of covenant traditions mainly fell on the shoulders of the descendants of Judah and Benjamin, who lived in the southern kingdom of Judah. Thus, the division of the people into 12 tribes also resulted in differences in understanding and life. The fall of the southern kingdom of Judah in 586 BCE, when Babylon under King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem and the temple, marked the beginning of a new stage in Jewish identity. The events of the Babylonian exile forced the Jews to adapt to new living conditions in a foreign land, thereby strengthening their religious and cultural identity. In the absence of a central temple and the necessity of living in exile, the Jews began to focus on studying the Torah and observing the covenant, which gave rise to a new form of Jewish identity that no longer depended on specific geography but was based on faith and law. After 70 years of exile, when some Jews returned to their homeland to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, many chose to remain in the diaspora, spreading their culture and religious customs throughout the ancient world. Thus, Jewish identity grew increasingly associated with the observance of the covenant and religious practices rather than merely with the territory of Judah or a specific tribe. This period became an era in which Jewish identity encompassed all who followed the teachings and covenant of Moses, regardless of their tribal origins. This inclusivity played a vital role in strengthening Jewish identity, which remained resilient and powerful even amid the trials of time and distance. In the modern world, Jewish and Israeli identities maintain their connection to these ancient roots. However, they have taken on a new form with the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. Since then, the term Jew has become a symbol of connection to the covenant and cultural heritage, while Israeli serves as a national designation for the citizens of modern Israel, representing diverse ethnic and religious groups. Thus, although the majority of Jews are ancestrally connected to the ancient people of Israel, not all modern Israelis are Jews. This multi-layered nature of identities reflects both the rich history and the profound covenant of the people of Israel, highlighting the unique yet diverse nature of Jewish heritage. Conclusion: facts about Jews, Israelis, and Israel. The exploration of Jewish and Israeli identity reveals deep historical roots and multifaceted contemporary perspectives on them. The Jewish people have preserved their traditions and cultural codes for millennia, despite constant relocations and dispersals across various countries. Israelis, on the other hand, represent a newly formed nation that unites individuals with diverse views, cultures, and levels of religious perception. Each of these individuals feels an inseparable connection to their historical homeland, creating a remarkable harmony between tradition and modernity. The distinction between the concepts of Jew and Israeli symbolizes how ancient culture can be preserved and adapted in the modern world. Jews, as a people of the book, knowledge, and centuries-old history, stand alongside Israelis, who are creating a national state and striving to blend traditions with contemporary realities. Both identities offer a unique perspective on a world where it is essential to remember one's roots while also knowing how to move forward and continue to evolve. The story of the Lost Tribes of Israel reminds us that the cultural and spiritual connection to ancestors does not fade, even if peoples are scattered over millennia. Perhaps the main truth about Jews, Israelis, and Israel lies in the fact that they are united not only by common historical roots but also by a continuous search for their essence, which gives them uniqueness and complexity. This ongoing pursuit of self-discovery makes their cultural heritage even richer and more vibrant in the context of modernity.